But Major League Baseball did rank their top 7.
I didn't see these
and
yet.
they feel like the number 7 team was the Royals. They actually have the Phillies at number 6.
In terms of best deadlines?
Best.
6th best deadline, they're saying.
The 6th best was the Phillies. They're saying for the team with the best record in the NL, stacked with veterans and clearly geared up to win the whole thing this year, you want them to attack those specific holes aggressively and not really sweat the price, and that's what the Phillies did. Major League Baseball feels like the Phillies had to give up a lot for Carlos Estevez. He was the best reliever on the market, and they did what they had to do to get him, and that Tanner Banks is a handy reliever as well. Austin Hayes will help more than what he would have done with the Orioles. And no, these moves are not earth-shattering, but the Phillies don't need earth-shattering. They need players who will help them in the postseason. So the Phillies are sitting at number 6. Number 5, our trade mates, the Orioles. And Seranthony Dominguez
Gregory Soto
actually
really catapulted them in.
Yeah.
Trevor Rogers has been all right, like his last 6 starts, but I don't know. That doesn't really move the needle much.
I
guess it's better than what they had.
Yeah, because they had nothing.
And that's how we graded the Phillies. Like Austin Hayes was better than what they had. So
bingo. And then they have the Mets at number 4, the Mariners at number 3, the Los Angeles Dodgers at number 2, and they actually have the Cardinals at number 1.
Padres aren't in the top 7.
No.
Huh?
But I guess because maybe they feel like...
Where do they have the Padres ranked?
They only have top 7.
They only have the top 7?
There was no continuation past 7. Yeah. But they have... I was actually pretty surprised by this list that they dropped.
Who's the contributing writers to it? That's what
it was Will Leitch who put this piece out. And just kind of analyzing and accounting for, what teams did what. They feel like the Cardinals, with a negative run differential, they lost a couple series in a row. That they were able, with glaring holes, to really... It was more about who found pieces that were the best fit. I think the Padres, to be honest, if you're looking at best fit, they just went out and got guys. A lot of guys at that. I don't know. The Padres, with all the injuries and just where they are this season, who knows if that translates. But
one of the things after doing some more reading last night and this morning about the trade deadline that was interesting was none of baseball's top 100 prospects got moved. Not a single guy on the pipeline.
That's a lot of guys that did not.
I feel like that is incredibly rare that happens. So I don't know if this is, I don't want to call it a new trend, but like an emphasis from teams this year, because Dombrowski talked about it yesterday, to really protect their top 3 and 4 guys. And in Jim Salisbury's piece on the website, he named 4 guys and said, these are the guys we're very happy to protect and basically that we want to see develop and see out. So that seemed to be the common theme across the league was nobody was really trading their top pieces. So that was interesting. I'd have to go back and look, but I don't think there's many trade deadlines where top 100 pieces aren't moved. Even a Jack Flaherty, he's the Dodgers. What was it, number 3? We said, Tyler. 3, but he wasn't a top 100 guy. So, that's an interesting thing that happened yesterday because there are more teams than ever with chances to win that believe they can win, and everybody's still protecting their top guys. Yeah,
and the big thing that, in reading the reasoning for each of these teams that made the top 7 is which teams actually filled those gaps, which teams actually got better in the areas that they're weak. Anybody can go out and get a flashy trade and make it happen. And just as you talk about protecting your prospects, do the opposite and move a bunch of your prospects to bring in a guy. But also with the way that the market was, to be honest, and I know we talked about this yesterday on our show a little bit, in terms of outfielders, weren't really as many options as there were for bullpen arms and mostly just bullpen arms, to be honest. The market had a number of bullpen arms available, and you look at a guy like Carlos Estevez, a Tanner Scott, there were some really good relievers out there. And so would you give up a prospect for a reliever? I don't know. You're not talking about an everyday, an outfielder or a positional player. You're talking about moving a top prospect for a reliever. So I actually think it does make sense to me as teams, much like the Phillies did with the later move for Gregory Soto, we're planning for the now, but also planning for the future.
That's a great
And you don't want to give up too much to get one. You're going to give up 2-3 prospects to get one guy. I actually agree with that. But I do feel like, to your point, Jamie, it is surprising that so many prospects got protected.
Yeah, and you gave up what was perceived as a lot for Estevez on Saturday, and then you go out and replace those pitchers, one being a top 10, prospect in the Orioles system, you replace Aldigari and Clausen kind of internally within your own system, and one or two that can help you. Well, at least one, not two, because the one's just at high A. But the one can potentially help you this year. So Aldigari and Clausen weren't going to help you for at least another year, maybe two, depending on how they develop. But this guy now replenishes the loss of them that you used to get Estevez and can potentially help the big league club as soon as now.
Right.
So I think that Gregory Soto move is why I graded him highly, because that's just a really smart move. You replenished what you traded to get a sure thing, and then you're gambling on a prospect, quad A type of kid right now that could potentially help you now and replenishes what you lost. So I think they attacked it really smart. Would a Lane Thomas, a Jazz Chisholm, or Jorge Soler have been better than Austin Hayes? I mean, probably, yeah, but you're probably not getting any of those guys without dipping into your prospect pool. So I think when you look at what they did and the needs they had, I think they addressed it in a really smart way. So that's why I gave them the A- yesterday. I know, where were you, a B? And then John and Tyler were C+.
Yeah.
I got, a little bit of Sunshine Mary moniker thrown at me, but I do think they were just smart moves, and you didn't lose any of your top guys, so that's encouraging. Estevez looked great last night. I think he is
he did.
Really going to solidify this bullpen in a major, major way. So, all in all, I'm pretty happy. Would I have liked to have seen a better bat than Hayes? Sure, but I think everything else makes a lot of sense.